On Wednesday, Josh was sentenced to 151 months in prison.
Jussie Smollett.
What is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks.
This man has enjoyed a long career in the entertainment industry, first appearing in The Mighty Ducks when he was just 10 years old. But all that work flew out the window when he made up a hate crime. In late January 2019, news broke that Smollett was attacked outside of his Chicago apartment by two homophobic racists, quickly becoming a sympathetic victim in the national media. But that sympathy changed to hate when a police investigation found that Smollett had orchestrated the attack himself, having hired two brothers to pose as the assailants. The brothers claimed that Smollett wanted to be a poster child for activism. Instead, he was ridiculed, fired from Empire, and sentenced to 5 months in county jail.
All lies. And his claim under oath that there was no hoax, that was a lie too.
Adam Hicks.
Now, a former Disney actor and his girlfriend are now charged with robbery for a crime spree on the streets of Burbank.
Known for playing the titular Luther Waffles on Disney's Zeke and Luther, Adam Hicks has faced some significant legal issues in recent years. On January 25, 2018, Hicks and his girlfriend, Danny Tamburo, robbed a number of people at gunpoint in Burbank, including two women in their 70s. Both Hicks and Tamburo were eventually caught and arrested for armed robbery. Hicks pleaded no contest and was found guilty, receiving a sentence of 5 years in prison. Hicks' career in television has been thoroughly dismantled, and you likely won't see him on the small screen anytime soon.
A search of the residence and of that car led us to the recovery of all the victim's property and of the handgun that we believe was used in the crime.
Orlando Brown.
At the end of the day, you have these warrants, you're picked up, and this is why you're going back to LA County. Okay, thank you.
Another Disney actor who has fallen on hard times, Orlando Brown once entertained millions playing Eddie Thomas on That's So Raven. Unfortunately, his life slowly spiraled, culminating in a very controversial 2016. The first incident occurred in February, when he struck his girlfriend in a police station parking lot in Torrance, California, and was arrested for domestic battery and drug possession. A further domestic disturbance occurred the following March, and in September, he broke into a Las Vegas restaurant owned by his friend Danny Boy. Things cooled down until 2022, when the now homeless Brown was arrested in Ohio for domestic violence after threatening his brother with a hammer.
And he was coming towards you? He was thrusting it, forward thrust and all of that.
Okay.
Jeremy Jackson.
As a result of your actions, Big Brother has no choice than to remove you from the house.
He might not be well known today, but Jeremy Jackson was popular in the 1990s, playing Hobie Buchanan on Baywatch. Unfortunately, Jackson soon fell into heavy drug use and departed the show after 159 episodes. His career and personal life never truly recovered. In 2015, Jackson was kicked off Celebrity Big Brother 15 after opening another house guest's dressing gown. He was cautioned by the police following the incident, but he wasn't so lucky following another incident. Just a few months later, Jackson tried stealing a car in Los Angeles and stabbed the woman who intervened. Luckily, she was okay, and Jackson was sentenced to 5 years probation and 270 days in county jail.
It's probably the grind to get back to at least some level of normal. That's the hardest.
Drake Bell.
How do you plead to count one? Attempted endangering children, felony of the 4th degree.
Guilty.
The winner of 10 Kids' Choice Awards, Drake Bell is a beacon of nostalgia, having starred as one half of the legendary Drake and Josh. But like other child stars on this list, he has faced a number of significant legal issues. The worst occurred in 2021, when Bell was charged in Cleveland with disseminating matter harmful to juveniles and attempted endangering children, the latter of which is a felony. The crimes relate to inappropriate social media messages that Bell shared with the underage girl and allegedly engaging in sexual chats. He pleaded guilty and was given 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service.
This is new at 6. Former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell avoided jail time today on his child endangerment conviction. Bell was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service.
Dmitri Diachenko.
Where to next?
We go to underground poker game and mostly abandoned insane asylum.
Yes!
He wasn't a big star, but Dmitri Diachenko found some success on television, appearing in shows like Sons of Anarchy and How I Met Your Mother. But his career fizzled just as it was getting hot owing to a horrible crime he allegedly committed in 2014. Diachenko was living with his ex-girlfriend in Los Angeles at the time, who told him that she no longer wanted to be roommates. According to the district attorney, Diachenko killed and ate her pet rabbit, all while sending her graphic photos of the entire process. And when she returned home, he told her that he would do the same to her. Diachenko claims it was a hoax. He was given 3 years probation and 60 days of community labor.
Wait here. We get you on VPI list for party.
You give us $200 per person, cover charge.
Charles S. Dutton.
Do you know why I stopped you, sir?
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what. Why don't you and your wife have dinner on me, and you can tell her about it.
You offering me a bribe, sir?
The recipient of 3 Emmy Awards, Charles S. Dutton is a prime example of someone turning their life around. Growing up in a rough area of Baltimore, Dutton's life was upended in 1967 when he killed a man in a knife fight. According to Dutton, the killing was in self-defense, and he was given 5 years in prison for manslaughter. He was out after just 20 months, but was soon resentenced on a handgun charge. He was given a further 8 years after assaulting a prison guard, bringing his total sentence to 11 years. Luckily, he discovered the joy of drama while serving his time and later earned a master's degree from the Yale School of Drama, resulting in his Emmy-winning career on television.
Most states were spending tens of millions in those days on rehabilitation. But those days are over with. It's punishment now.
Jerry Harris.
The public knows him as a star on Netflix, a cheerleader winning the hearts of many. Prosecutors say Jerry Harris is a child predator.
2020 was an up and down year for Jerry Harris. He became a national star after appearing in the Netflix documentary Cheer, which chronicled the Navarro College Bulldogs cheer team from Texas. But the following September, just 8 months after the series debuted, Harris was arrested by the FBI in Chicago for producing illicit material related to minors. According to Harris himself, he engaged in inappropriate behavior on Snapchat with a number of underage individuals, and he committed illegal physical activity on at least one occasion. Harris pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 12 years in prison.
They are expected to argue for his release from jail. Part of their argument expected to be that Harris has asthma and therefore is at increased risk for COVID-19.
Lane Garrison.
You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Okay. But I just had to ask. In all your years filming Prison Break.
This actor got a major break after landing the role of David Opolsky's, better known as Tweener, on the acclaimed Fox drama Prison Break. But he didn't have long to enjoy his newfound success. In December of 2006, about halfway through the show's second season, Garrison came across 3 teenagers outside a liquor store. He went with them to a local high school party, and all 4 left the party in his vehicle. Garrison, who was both drunk and high at the time, crashed the car into a tree, killing one of the teens and injuring the other 2. He was given over 3 years in jail. In the words of Garrison himself, from Prison Break to prison.
It's a great cast, and that's it. That's all I've been doing is work. I have to working out, not eating pancakes.
Mark Salling.
You broke the rules. For that, you must be punished.
After attempting a career in music, the late Mark Salling found great success on Glee, playing resident bad boy Noah Puckerman. But as it turns out, Salling was actually much worse than his character. On December 29, 2015, after the show had already concluded, Salling was arrested in Los Angeles on suspicion of owning illicit material related to minors. The police were tipped off by one of his ex-girlfriends, and they found mountains of evidence on his computer. He accepted a plea deal and was expected to receive up to 7 years in prison. However, Salling took his own life before sentencing could occur.
One of the stars of the musical comedy Glee has died, and all indications are he took his own life.
Allison Mack.
Mack was sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges she manipulated women into becoming sex slaves for NXIVM leader Keith Raniere.
The story of Allison Mack is a wild one indeed. She rose to fame in the 2000s playing Chloe Sullivan on Smallville. But aside from a brief stint on Wilfred and a few guest shots, Mack just sort of disappeared after the show ended in 2011. As it turns out, she had become involved in a New York cult called NXIVM and was quite a high-ranking member. Parts of her role involved trafficking women for founder Keith Raniere, engaging in various forms of corporal punishment, and physically branding recruits. It all ended in 2018 when Mack was arrested by the FBI in Brooklyn on charges of human trafficking and forced labor. She pled guilty to racketeering and served 21 months in prison.
Well, new this morning, according to a government website, the television actor Allison Mack has been released from a California prison.
Lillo Brancato.
Do you feel you got away with murder?
No, I don't feel that I've, got away with murder.
Sometimes the line between fiction and reality is rather blurry. Lillo Brancato appeared in The Sopranos, playing Christopher's underling, Matthew Bevilacqua. On December 10, 2005, Brancato and an accomplice named Stephen Armento broke into a house in the Bronx. Living next door was an off-duty police officer named Daniel Enchategui, who heard glass breaking and confronted the men outside. A gunfight then ensued and Enchategui was killed. The fatal shot was fired by Armento, so Brancato was found not guilty of second-degree murder. However, he was found guilty of attempted burglary and was given 10 years in prison. He served less than 5.
What was your reaction when you found out that you had been a part of a cop killing?
Jared Fogle.
You're this unknown guy who just announced he'd been eating a lot of Subways.
A different kind of television star. Jared Fogle was the main spokesperson for Subway between 2000 and 2015, appearing in over 300 commercials. And their working relationship probably would have gone longer had it not been for one devastating discovery. On July 7, 2015, Fogle's Indiana home was raided by the FBI, who found him to be in possession of illegal material. He was arrested on charges of distribution and receipt and was quickly fired from Subway. Federal Judge Tanya Pratt claimed that the level of perversion and lawlessness exhibited by Mr. Fogle is extreme and sentenced him to nearly 16 years in prison. He is currently serving his sentence in FCI Inglewood and is eligible for parole in 2029.
A multi-millionaire who made his fortune by being a relatable everyman has become one of the most reviled men in America.
Will Hayden.
The star of Discovery's Sons of Guns, Will Hayden, has been taken into police custody in Louisiana.
After serving in the Marines, Will Hayden opened Red Jacket Firearms, a business that catered to custom weapons. This business attracted the attention of the Discovery Channel, and they produced a show called Sons of Guns, which chronicled the daily goings-on inside Red Jacket Firearms. The show was on the air for 5 seasons until news broke in August 2014 that Hayden had been arrested for crimes related to minors. Sons of Guns was immediately canceled, and the story got even worse when Hayden's own daughter accused him of similar crimes against her. He was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated assault and is currently serving 3 life sentences inside Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Hayden is in custody and being held on a $250,000 bond. For more on the developing Will Hayden case, go to fox4on1.com.
Danny Masterson.
He was admitted to North Kern State Prison. A Los Angeles jury convicted him back in May.
That 70s show kickstarted a lot of careers, including that of Danny Masterson, who would later reunite with Ashton Kutcher on The Ranch. But not long after that show started, Masterson was hit with multiple accusations of assault and was both fired from The Ranch and dropped by the United Talent Agency. These accusations prompted an investigation by the LAPD, resulting in numerous charges of sexual assault. The years-long battle finally came to an end in 2023, when Masterson was convicted of 2 counts and given 30 years to life in prison.
A Los Angeles judge has sentenced one of the stars of That 70s Show, Danny Masterson, to 30 years to life in prison.
Josh Duggar.
Today, it's my honor and privilege to join in this announcement of a guilty verdict in the case of United States versus Josh Duggar.
19 Kids and Counting was a show that aired on TLC between 2008 and 2015. It followed the Duggar family, which consisted of parents Michelle and Jim Bob and their 19 children. The eldest was Josh Duggar, who was already an adult by the time the show started. Unfortunately, accusations of sexual assault have followed Duggar throughout much of his adult life, and they directly led to the cancellation of 19 Kids and Counting. Justice finally came for Duggar in 2021, when he was arrested by U.S. Marshals for receiving and owning illegal material related to minors. He was found guilty of possession and given 12 years in prison, a sentence that was welcomed and supported by multiple family members.
The Dillards summed it all up by expressing, quote, "This trial has felt more like a funeral than anything else."
Stephen Collins.
Did you feel at times that you were leading a double life in any way?
No. After many years of acting, Stephen Collins became a household name in 1996, having landed the role of Eric Camden on Seventh Heaven. Eric is a Protestant minister, which is deeply ironic considering Collins's immoral crimes. In 2014, TMZ leaked audio from a counseling session that Collins was attending, in which he admitted to misconduct with underage girls. The leak was devastating to Collins's career, and he was fired from numerous projects. Collins admitted his transgressions to the media, claiming that he had committed 3 instances of misconduct in his distant past. But as the claims are unsubstantiated, Collins has faced no legal recourse for his actions.
The first incident was in 1973. You were 25 years old. How old was the victim?
Michael Jace.
Michael Jace was found guilty today of second-degree murder in the death of his wife, April. He shot and killed her in May of 2014.
This actor was lucky enough to be on The Shield, which is considered one of the best shows ever made. He played Julian Lowe, one of the few decent police officers in a show full of corrupt ones. And like Stephen Collins, this clash between character and reality is deeply ironic. In May of 2014, Jace murdered his wife April in Los Angeles and proceeded to call the cops on himself, bluntly telling them, "I shot my wife." According to investigators, Jace shot her once in the back and twice in both legs, which was considered a symbolic gesture as April was a professional runner. He was given 40 years to life in prison.
It's really hard to come up with words for it when you've done what you've done and have to deal with the consequences, but he understands second degree.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, found guilty. The actor and comedian, once known as America's Dad, found guilty on all charges today.
There are few downfalls bigger than that of Bill Cosby. Once considered America's dad, Cosby is now a social pariah, and his legacy in Hollywood has been permanently tarnished. It all relates to dozens of indecent assault allegations that date back to 1965. Decades worth of accusations were completely ignored, but we can thank comedian Hannibal Buress for bringing justice to the countless women. In October 2014, Buress made a joke about Cosby's sketchy past, leading more than a dozen victims to come forth. Cosby was eventually found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault and was given 3 to 10 years in prison. He spent less than 3 years inside before his conviction was overturned owing to a legal technicality.
He was released after an appellate court ruled that he'd been prosecuted in violation of an earlier agreement made between the district attorney's office and the disgraced comic.
Jimmy Savile.
Each day brings new shocking allegations, the latest suggesting he used his charity work to gain access to the young and the vulnerable.
Tragically, sometimes justice is not brought. Such is the case with Jimmy Savile, the host of Top of the Pops and Jim Will Fix It. Savile died in 2011 as a British legend and a Knight Bachelor, having received the honor all the way back in 1990. But his legacy was brought into question just 1 year later, when an ITV documentary examined claims of indecent abuse against Savile. Similar accusations had been made during Savile's lifetime, but they were widely ignored. But this documentary prompted a new investigation from Scotland Yard, who found Savile to be one of Britain's most prolific assault offenders. He had reportedly assaulted hundreds of people throughout his lifetime, and he got away with it all.
We've received over 400 lines of information from the public. We are investigating major crime here.
Can you think of any other examples we should have mentioned? Let us know in the comments below.
Lisa, he pulled a gun out and shot his wife.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.